Welcome back then guys to Final Fantasy IX, our Excalibur II playthrough, and we're going to pick up where we left off. So we're going to start today by going through the previous area that we've already been through and collecting the rest of the treasures that we missed. And then we're going to be taking on a bit of a tricky boss, tricky because it does rely on quite a bit of RNG, and then we're going to finish off with some cutscenes before finishing off today's session. And if you're following along with the GameFaqs walkthrough by Atomus, then this is going to be covering the session known as D1-04. And there's a couple of sections involved which are broken up by various save points. So as I said initially, we're just going to go around grabbing these treasures that we didn't get previously in the last section. There's still two treasures we're going to skip for the time being, but we will be able to get those later on. Despite popular belief, the whirlwind sand thingies in this area do actually stop by themselves later on. You don't have to do anything to get that to take place. So we won't waste time on those. We'll come back later on when it's safe to do so. Just make sure you watch how you do these sand pits, because I ended up wasting time having to do this one twice. But just play that carefully, and it doesn't really matter in the end. The actual target time for this particular session is 10 minutes and 54 seconds. And as you can probably tell by the length of this video, it's pretty much the target that we hit. So even though things don't always go to plan in this particular episode, as you're going to see, especially in regards to the boss, it doesn't really matter. We do make the time up due to the fast forward option and various other bits that Square has now given us. Okay, so making our way back into Cleyra itself, we're going to head up towards the cathedral area, grabbing a few treasures on the way that we've missed previously. There's 4 more treasures we're going to pick up. So there's the Thunder Gloves over here, and then in the next area there's another treasure. I think it's a Phoenix Pinion, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And then we're going to head towards the cathedral itself after this, and there's 2 more treasures at that point. Yeah, there's the Phoenix Pinion. Okay, so just continue heading up these stairs here. And then outside the cathedral, we don't need to go in at the moment. There's an item just down here, Garshaw Greens. And then on the other side, by the actual cathedral itself, or the temple, or whatever this thing is, there's an echo screen. Exit to the right-hand side, and then head down towards the inn area. This will kick off the cutscene regarding the Antlion. So then the boss will be there the next time we head into that section where we spoke to Cleyra before. But before we head over there, there's one more thing we need to do. Well, 2 more things really. Both of those are in the inn. The first is to grab the items, of which there are 3. And then second of all, you can see the little Moogle staring out the window up there. We get to save our game, so we're going to take advantage of that and do so. So grab the gear from down here. And then the third item is just at the bedside, up on the top floor. And make sure you read the letter as well from Ruby. So just head to Mognet before saving. And we're not going to need to sort equipment out since we've done that previously. So right now we should have, well, we do have Zidane and Cleyra in the party. And Cleyra's only got the needle fork and the yellow scarf, I believe, equipped. And that's what we want, so don't worry about equipping your party members. So now we're going to just reload this file. And I've just had a bit of practice on this boss. It's taken quite a few attempts, but I think I know what I'm doing now. And there's 2 ways of doing this. There's the cheaty way, which I'm not going to do, and the proper way for this playthrough, and that's the way I'm going to show you. But I'll explain the cheaty way. That is simply to put on Battle Assist, and then hit this boss with everything you've got, and use Vivi to double cast Bio at 4,000 health. So long as Vivi doesn't die, then you should get him down within 2 rounds. The way that Atomus's guide expects you to do this, and it's the way I'm going to show you, is you need to get Cleyra down to 1 health. And at 1 health then you can cast Limit Glove. So Cleyra needs to die, you need to cast Phoenix down to resurrect him, and hopefully you'll get him onto 1 health. In the meantime, and this is why I recommend doing it this way, you can actually use Zidane to steal a couple of good items, and mostly that's going to be used for selling them for gil. But you can't get those items if you're doing it the cheaty way, because you do need to use Zidane to attack, or you won't get him down within 2 rounds. So you just want to rely really on resurrecting Cleyra, but also the boss has an ability known as Sandstorm, which he can cast even as his first turn. And that puts the target, and it is an AoE ability, into critical health status, with a chance of putting them on 1 health. So even if you don't have any luck resurrecting Cleyra using Phoenix Downs to 1 health, the boss can actually put Cleyra on 1 health with the Sandstorm ability. It is possible, if you're going for an absolute perfect time for this fight to start, the boss immediately casts Sandstorm, putting Queena at 1 health, Queena using Blue Magic Limit Glove and killing the boss within the very first round. That is actually possible to do. But after several attempts, I decided to settle with this particular attempt, even though it's far from perfect. This has gone on far longer than you really should allow, and I've ended up using more Phoenix Downs than I would have liked. But I did get Queena onto 1 health here, as you can see. And every other party members died, but we did manage to get this Limit Glove ability to cast. So I was happy with this particular attempt in the end, even though it was far from perfect. And if I was going for a perfect time, then I would have replayed this particular boss fight and tried to get a little bit more lucky with the RNG. But as it stands, even with this imperfect boss attempt, because we can use the fast forward ability on the upcoming cutscenes, I've been able to complete this section well within the time limit, and we are still ahead of schedule by the end of this, so I'm completely fine with the way this has worked out. And I think we did get a couple of nice items, as I mentioned as well, from that attempt, and those are quite rare steals, so you could end up not getting those, which is fine. You don't want to restart because of that, but we did get them, so that's a bit of a bonus. And now we're just going to keep the speed up function on. We get to watch Freya do her dance in speed up mode, which is pretty trippy, but there we go. And then we'll just keep going, skipping through all the dialogue. We get a couple of dialogue options as well before we get control of our party again. It doesn't matter what you select, so just do what you want. Right then, so we're about to take control of Freya here, and we're going to head towards the temple area once more. And this time, when we go into the temple, we'll be able to head into the room that was previously closed off by the priests. And there's 3 items we want to pick up. Sorry, 4 items actually, because there's an item we can pick up from one of the NPCs. So, go behind the harp here to grab the first one, up in the centre is the second, then the third is over to the left hand side. It's a little bit tricky actually to navigate because of the way the input works with the analog, but that's just something we have to get used to, unfortunately. And then speak to this guy here, the High Priest, for an emerald. And that's pretty much it. Now we're going to head back towards the inn and do one final thing before finishing off this section. Righty then, so back inside the inn, we're going to head upstairs, and just before we save, we're going to see that Stiltskin's here, so we're going to purchase the 3 items from him. And, oh, one more thing actually, make sure you do Mognet, since once we've done that, there'll be another letter. And then we can go ahead and save our game. Just make sure you get the I want mail. There we go. And that's it, that's the end of the section. So we'll go ahead and save here, and I'll show you my time. The target time by this particular point is 3 hours and 39 minutes 57 seconds. But we're actually slightly ahead of that, I believe. So I'll just go ahead and quit here. And then we can get an accurate representation of our time from the moment we save there. And what are we on? 3 hours 30 something? 3 hours and 34 minutes it's this one, and 53 seconds. So we're pretty much exactly 5 minutes ahead of schedule. So we're making up the time, despite falling behind a little bit earlier on in the walkthrough. We're now ahead of things, and I'm really happy with that. So don't forget to share your time in the comments, folks. I know many of you are beating me, which is, you know, fantastic to hear. So thanks for stopping by today, guys, and I'll see you soon for more of our Excalibur II playthrough. Until then, take care and goodbye.